Hey everybody, welcome back to Dungeon Scoundrel Part 2, our beginner tutorial. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. Everyone seemed to have liked my Part 1 of my beginner tutorial. And as I've promised, I will continue to give you as much information as I can so that you can play this wonderful card strategy game. Welcome to TCG Thursdays, which is where we play tactical card games, fun card games, crazy card games, any kind of card game you can think of. I absolutely love Dungeon Scoundrel. It's an absolutely amazing game. I have a thumbnail that's going to be coming out for it. Our artist Toil will be working on it, assuming she takes the job. And I also have a really cool song by Zero People. And big shout out to Queen Angel for the awesome music. She does a fantastic job at that. Also, just want to send her a huge, huge, huge hug and I love you and hang in there. She's not feeling too good today. She had a little flu and she's not feeling very hot. And very special boy, Angel 4 Jojo, is keeping an eye on her. Just want to give her the absolute maximum praise for always, always taking care of everybody else. She is a person that even if she feels terrible, she'll take care of you. She'll make dinner, she'll bring you a hot plate, she'll get you groceries, she will encourage you, she will give you support, she will solve a problem. Her students and her co-workers know her as being the most dedicated teacher of assistive technology that is in the entire world. Of course, I might be biased a bit, but she's absolutely awesome, and I just want to give her absolutely as much encouragement as possible. And hey, don't get out of bed, Queen Angel, just get some rest. You'll feel a lot better after a little bit of herbal tea and some rest and some snuggles with JoJo, and you will be 100% better. I'll make sure she gets some special treats today, a little 7-Up, some special cookies, and she'll feel much better after that. But again, she is a huge channel friend, but not only that, she's a charter member that's helped support this channel, and she has made this channel be very successful. And then she doesn't get sick very often, but when she does, I just haven't had many opportunities to throw that armchair of support, and I wanted to do it in this video in honor of all the tutorials she's done for this channel free of charge and with absolutely rock star solid support. All right, today we're going to try to get through a sample game. Again, this is a tutorial. If you do know how to play Dungeon Scoundrel, this might not be a video you necessarily have to sit through unless you really like listening to me do tutorials. Also, another thing I want to say to the developer is you've done an awesome job with all the work, all the updates, and all the accessibility. Fantastic job. You are a true legend. And you're a new legend, and I can't wait to see everything that you do. This developer is really bringing a lot to our blind, visually impaired, blind, deaf, low vision community by making a game that is not only fun, but is accessible and is easy to navigate, has a punchy UI, has a very, very, very comfortable UX experience, and yeah, they just keep doing magical things. Can't wait for more updates, more gameplay. I did state this is a tutorial. It's going to go really slow. It might be about an hour or so. I have a little bit of Scoundrel coffee, so if you like to call the game Scoundrel, you'd be happy to know I got Scoundrel coffee. I am getting over a flu myself, and yeah, it's been really tough. So excuse me if I have to take a break. I'm highly hydrated, so I might have to run on a couple of unexpected bio breaks. I do apologize for the interruption. I just wanted to let you know that's the reason for it. I am drinking like lots of fizzy drinks and lots of water. I drink a ton of water. I probably drink about 10 water bottles a day worth of water, just so you know. I stay very hydrated. I'm not a person that drinks a lot of sugary drinks. I drink a lot of water. But I do love Diet Pepsi, and when I'm sick, I do like to have a little 7-Up. So that's really kind of what I do. Big shout out to My Noise. You can pick them up in the App Store, My Noise BBA. You can find the links. The links I have currently are not leading to anything, but you can search My Noise, NOISEBBA inside of the App Store, and you can find the app. It is a great app. It's worth picking up. It's worth purchasing. It's worth rating. It's worth fully engrossing yourself. It's one of my absolute favorite apps, and it never gives me copyrights. It always works. It always works, and it's amazing. Music is by Zero People. Thank you to Zero People, as I am one of the members. Thank you to Queen Angel. If you wanted to know where the music comes from, the app that we use to create a lot of our music, but not exclusively all of the music components, is Suno. So you can sometimes find a link to Suno in my description, but I wanted to give them a shout out. They are absolutely awesome, and I love Suno. They're very, very cool. And if you don't like music that has some assistance given to the creator, I'm sorry, that's just, I use it, I like it, I think it's perfectly legitimate. You know, we use AI to launch rockets into the International Space Station. We use AI to create legal briefs. We use AI to do lots of functionality in our society. We use it for all our departments, and our government use AI. So I know some of you think that you don't need UI or shouldn't use AI, because you don't have to say AI, not UI. Some of you think we don't need to use AI for the things that we use, but AI is designed to not only make our life easier, funner, more exciting, more efficient, but effective. And I like AI. There's nothing wrong with AI as long as it doesn't. AI belongs alongside all the other things we use in our life. It's not meant to replace anybody or artists or people or anyone. It's not meant to replace human beings. It's meant to complement us. It's meant to give us support. Just like if you get yourself a really good carpenter's hammer, it's meant to help bang in nails a lot easier. If you get yourself a really sharp saw, it's meant to chop through wood and create crafting. So AI isn't your enemy. There's no need to treat it as that. And do I know people sometimes do tend to lean toward the negative? I like to ask you to change yourself and lean toward the positive. There's lots of good things in our world. AI is not the cause of problems. And I know some people have some horror stories, but I don't believe it is so. And that's just my humble opinion. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and start a new game. Now, there are two modes you can play, as I talked about in the part 1 of the beginner tutorial. There is classic mode and there is hero mode. I, on my own, between the last time that I did a tutorial record and today, was practicing a little bit of the hero mode. In the hero mode, you can unlock basically some of the terminology. I'm really trying to make sure I don't get it wrong, but you unlock currency, which allows you to unlock magic spells. One of the things you have to keep in mind is that there are rules that I'm becoming more and more aware of. So I'm going to try to talk about some of the rules that you need to be aware of. One of the rules are that you can only have 3 special cards in your deck. That's 3. You can have 1, you can have 2, or you can have 3, but you can't have more than that. So if you're wondering, how do you decide what cards? Well, it depends on how your gameplay is, depends on your hero. It depends on how you play. I tend to keep 2 to 3 cards, special cards in my deck, and I'll talk about them as we play. All right, let's go ahead and start.
Continue hero on a Soundweaver button. Start new game button. Choose a character class and begin a new adventure.
If you want to start a new game, you can go ahead and double tap on the start a new game button.
Dungeon Scoundrel. Image. Dungeon. Scoundrel. Choose your class. Class selection grid. 8 classes available. Selected. Scoundrel. A cunning survivor who fights dirty and never plays fair. Selected. Double tap to select.
Okay. Depending on how you're paying attention to when you come into the character selection screen, I've talked about this before, but you will have a character already selected. Usually it's the first character, but you don't have to stay there. You can go ahead and swipe to your right. I'm going to swipe to my right.
A blind warrior who uses sound to fight her enemies. Double tap to select.
I really love Sound Reaver. Sound Reaver is my absolute favorite character. I think of her as a character with futuristic clothing on, and that she is visually impaired, so she's 100% blind. She's super awesome. I would encourage the developer, hey, how about some descriptions of the characters, what they look like? I think that'd be really cute. I'm going to go ahead and select her.
Soundweaver. A blind warrior who uses sound to fight her enemies. Selected.
Once you have selected the character, you can go to the bottom of the screen and enter the
Selected.
dungeon.
Difficulty. Balance. Continue. Button. Selected. Difficulty. Balance challenge. Button. Swipe up or down to select a custom action. Then double tap to activate.
Just so you know, you don't select difficulty in this screen. You'll have to select difficulty in settings. Now, I'm going to be playing on a slightly different difficulty settings. It's going to be slightly harder. There isn't a reason why I still can't beat it and teach you, so I'm not going to worry about selecting beginner. If you're playing beginner, it will just be easier. So let's start off with a pretty good question. What's the difference between beginner and the next level of difficulty? Well, number one, the monsters have slightly more health, which means their attack power is higher. There's a little less fortuitous card that's dealt, so you tend to get a little rougher situation. Your weapons might do a little less damage. The monsters might have more attack power. You might have to struggle. Also, your hit points are reduced by 2 to start off. So you'll start off with 23 hit points instead of 25 hit points. So those are some of the things, and I'm sure there's numerous other things that you're going to have to learn about the difficulty settings. I'm still learning, but as I find out every single possibility of a difficulty setting, I'll try to bring that information to your attention. Okay, after you have determined your difficulty setting, after you have determined your difficulty mode, which is going to be done in the settings, you can then start the game. Select the character you wish to play from the characters that you've unlocked. Now, you don't start off with anything but the Scoundrel and the Sound Reaver opened. As far as I understand, I think the Sound Reaver comes already unlocked. So unlock means that the character is available to be played. Typically in roguelike games like Path of Adventure, the characters that you want to play have to be unlocked by you completing the game or basically beating the dungeon. To beat the dungeon, you must remove all of the cards in your deck and kill all monsters. Monsters can be destroyed by being dealt out, destroyed, removed, wrestled with, anything. You can just get rid of monsters in lots of interesting ways. And then once all the cards have been dealt out, if there are no more monsters, you win the game. It will ask you if you'd like to replay, which means you don't lose what you have, but you can start the game exactly with the parameters you already have in effect. Or it will ask you if you want to go back to the main menu. So if you thought it was a little too hard and maybe you want to adjust the difficulty mode, you can go back to the main menu and make some adjustments. Maybe the music was getting a little dry and you want better music. In this game, you can select whatever music you want. You can have no music, you can have up to 4 different soundtracks, and you can also adjust how loud they are. You can also make an adjustment to the sound effects, how loud you want the sound effects. As you all know, I love my sound effects to be quite high. So if that does bother you, you can let me know in a comment or you can let me know in an email. And of course, if you're looking to be a channel friend, you can always reach out to me at gamedoubletap@gmail.com. I'm always there. If you're a developer, you have information you'd like to talk to me about, you'd like me to do some testing, you'd like to consult with me, you can definitely reach out to me there. I really just want developers to know I'm not looking for anybody's money. All I'm looking for is to consult with you, work with you, help you. I am a person that believes that your mission is to bring joy, happiness, and kindness and creativity to my community. The most important thing to me is your support and your friendship and working with you to create the very, very best product for my community. And also to bring attention to your amazing work. So that is my main mission. That is my mission goal. My mission is not to become the biggest YouTuber in the entire world. I wouldn't even want that life. I would not want to be a celebrity YouTuber and basically, have people surprise me. I value my privacy and I like having a simple life. All right, so now let's go ahead and
continue.
start the
Button.
game.
Back. Button.
So you get to the bottom of the screen, there's a continue and a back button. I'm trying to explain a little bit more of the buttons as I get familiarized with them. So the back button will take you back out of the character selection screen. The continue will enter you into the dungeon. So we probably, if the developer's listening, some buttons we probably should make a little bit more directive. I think continue should be called enter game or start game or enter dungeon because it'd be a little easier for players who are new. Players who are new don't necessarily know what buttons do, and I'd like them not to have to experiment. I'd like them to know exactly what buttons do. So, best practices for any developer who's listening is make sure that all buttons are labeled, make sure that there's no lag, make sure that the player knows how to interact with the buttons. Empty spaces are very bad, unlabeled buttons are very bad. Not having a back button or return to main screen button is very bad. And if you are a developer who's using a certain kind of UI that doesn't allow the player to use their rotor, if this game, then allow some check-off buttons inside of the settings and allow some checkboxes so that the player can adjust sound effects, music, background music, so that the player can move. Please make sure that they can utilize, even if they can't use their rotor, make sure that they can utilize the headings, the vertical navigation, the swipe left and right. Make sure that the double tap for buttons are accurate and strong, which means make them punchy. Also, give your buttons some gravitas, which means make sure that they're thick and you can feel them. When a developer makes a game and the buttons are very, very sketchy and light, and kind of like the word would be I can't get the word exactly in my head, but basically if it's a little hard to find a button and everything's kind of bouncing around a little bit, the buttons are light, and the player doesn't really get a good experience. You want the player to be able to feel the buttons. You want to feel the gravitas and the feel. And if you have sounds, add a little bass in there so the players can hear it. If you're playing a game that has very rich, robust fighting and contact, go ahead and put some haptic feedback in there. I found that developers like Randall Higgins has done a lot, an absolute fantastic work with haptic feedback, and it really helps those who are visually impaired and blind to kind of feel what's going on when they enter buttons, they enter things. So haptic feedback can be placed when a person double taps on a button. Haptic feedback can be placed when something drops. There's ways to create vibrations that kind of tell the player lots of different information. Just because the player is not sighted doesn't mean that there aren't really amazing ways that a developer can use haptic feedback to give the person a lot of information.
Continue. Back. Okay. Button. Continue. Button. Continue. Hero Run. Embark on an epic journey through deadly dungeons. Button.
Now, after I've hit continue, after selecting the character, and I selected Sound Reaver, and then I double tapped on the continue button, you're swiftly and smoothly brought to the next screen. And this is a screen that you select your play mode. Now, I don't know if it needs to be, that information needs to be all up here at this moment, but it's logical, it works. There's really no need to change it right now. If the developer changes it in the future, I'd understand. I actually feel like whether you're in classic mode or you're in hero mode, I feel like you should probably have that just set to a default. Like, I'd like to see that placed in the settings so that whatever mode you want to play, you select it and you keep going into that mode till you decide to go into the settings and turn on heroic mode. So I'm going to go ahead. We are going to be doing, of course, a beginner tutorial. So we're going to
Classic Run,
mode.
The standard dungeon experience, button.
Classic Run, it's called. I do apologize. I do call things out of their names occasionally, but I just want you to know this is Classic Run. I'm going to try to use the game's information, but I won't always use the correct terminology. So if that kind of bothers you,
choose your path.
Apologize.
Classic Run, the standard dungeon experience, button.
Okay, I'm going to hit
Classic.
that button.
Dungeon Scoundrel, image, dungeon, Scoundrel.
What's really nice is one of the things I talked about in part 1 of this beginner tutorial is that you just hear the sound effects so clearly, and you can also adjust that volume type. What's really awesome to me is that the developers made sure the sound of the cards are dealt out clearly. It's very beautiful. It's very relaxing. Again, I play this game when I watch TV, you know, and I like hearing the cards being dealt out. It's really important to me that I hear that sound because when I'm in the mood to play a card game, I want to hear the sound of cards being dealt out. When I was younger, I used to really rapidly deal out cards because my friends and me would play 5-card stud. We'd play 5-card draw, we'd play 7-card stud, we'd play poker, we'd play gin rummy, we'd play lots of games. And I remember the beauty of just shuffling cards hundreds and thousands of times. It was just enjoyable having a really good brew or some coffee and having a good time. I worked at the post office for 30 years almost, and we, on our breaks, which were very short, would play cards a lot, and it was one of the funnest things we'd do. Hearing those cards being shuffled and dealt out was just absolutely awesome experience. After your first 4 cards are dealt out, there's going to be things I talked about. I covered that in part 1, so we're going to go more in this part 2 of the beginner tutorial. Is going to be more about how to kind of strategize, how to play, and how to think about what's going to come up in the game.
Settings, button, right? Classic run.
All right, so now you hear that we're in a classic run, so you know the game mode you're in. If it was a hero run, you know it'd be a little different run. The hero run is more like something you do to help people. It's a medieval world, so you go help people, you clear out sewers, you clear out taverns, you clear out whatever you're clearing out, and then you come back and you get paid. Though I gotta tell the developer, you never get paid anything. I really like, if we're gonna get paid something, then could we have a small currency so that maybe we can have some kind of customizable stuff and maybe have some like cute stuff, maybe a little companion or something. Because it feels like we don't really get anything, and yet you're saying we're getting gold. So I'd really love to see us get some items for the money that we receive for completing missions. All right,
Dungeon
let's
deck,
move
54
on.
cards remaining.
Now, I have 54 cards. Now, normally you're going to have 51 cards. And I have 54 cards because I have the maximum number of extra cards that I've unlocked and placed in my deck. Therefore, I have 54 cards. As far as I understand, you can't have any more than 54 cards in your deck. By the way, you still have to kill every monster, but you do not have to use up every card in your deck. If you're down to the last 4 cards and all the monsters have already been defeated, and there's 0 cards left in your deck but just 4 cards on the screen, if there's any monsters on that screen, you'll have to kill those monsters. But if after killing those monsters there's maybe 2 support, utility, or magic cards, you don't have to get rid of those cards. The game will end with you successfully beating the dungeon. Because you only have to kill all monsters. You don't have to use every single card. All right, so we're on turn 1. Every time you get down to 1 card, the board will move. I kind of feel like it moves the screen from right to left. So you move to the right, and the ended room moves to the left. And you will get cards dealt to fill in your hand, okay? And so we have 54 cards right now. Let's find out what the 4 cards that are present on the battlefield
Sonic Boom,
are.
weapon 9 damage.
Okay, so Sonic Boom, there's going to be some presumptions I make and assumptions because I still haven't unlocked any other classes other than the Scoundrel and the Soundreaver. But I feel like they each have their own flavor of weapons. And so the
Dungeon deck,
Soundreaver
Sonic Boom,
gets
weapon 9 damage.
the Sonic Boom, which is it's a really high damage card. Now it's really important to take advantage of the special magic cards you unlock to do as much damage as you can. There are lots of cards that can cut this card in half. There are lots of cards that can build up the damage of this card. But on its own, this card has a lot of damage. Now, in order to activate an attack card, you're going to have to pick the card up and put it in either your left hand or your right hand. Okay? So I'm going to go grab
Dungeon
the
deck,
card.
54, Sonic Boom, weapon 9 damage. Sonic Boom, weapon 9 damage.
You heard that little it's a really kind of low sound, probably needs to be a little louder. But did you hear that sound? I picked up the card, it went. That means I picked up the card. Now, once I have selected the card, I can now swipe to the right and left and place the card into either my left, right hand, or even into what we call my pocket.
Ogre, Monsters, Bastion, Shield 10, Vampire, Monster 10, left hand empty, equip Sonic Boom, 9 damage.
I'm going to equip my Sonic Boom. It offers you the chance to do something with the card, so the game makes it really easy. So I'm going to double tap and place the Sonic Blaster into my
left hand equipped with weapon Sonic Boom. 9 damage.
All right, and you can hear the damage. All right. Now, as you heard as I was walking the card past the battlefield, you heard there were a couple of monsters. Usually there's 2 to 3 monsters in every room. Now, sometimes it's a really bad situation. There's maybe 4 monsters in a room. You do not have to beat every monster. Remember, when you get down to 1 card, the room is complete and you move on to the next room. You can kill monsters by wrestling with them, by basically losing hit points to defeat their attack power. Say a monster has 14 attack power and you want to kill it, and you have at least 15 hit points. You can crash that monster into your hit points and you'll have 1 hit point left. So you have 15 hit points, the monster has 14 attack points. You take that monster, double tap on it, drag it to over your character's hit points, and double tap. The game will reduce your hit points by the monster's attack points. If you've already reduced the monster's attack points, the monster will have a different total of attack points. Say for instance, I have a particular card that does 7 points of damage, and I hit that monster with that card, like say Thunder. Now that monster has only 7 attack power. Now then, if I take that monster and drag it over to my hit points, that monster's attack power will only reduce my hit points by 7, bringing me down to 8 hit points. Now remember, if you bring a monster who has more attack power than your hit points, you'll kill yourself. If you bring a monster to your hit points that equals your hit points, you'll kill yourself. The only reason that doesn't happen is if you have a card that's going to negate that damage. So be very careful, and if you are going to use your own hit points to defeat monsters, make sure it's a reasonable choice. You don't always have to do that. There's lots of cards that can come up. And also, by the way, you don't always have to kill the strongest monster in the field. Sometimes you can move to a new room and find a brand new weapon and kill that monster. Also, do not forget you have shields. And shields are another way to defeat monsters. They're basically weapons, except what they do is reduce the monster's hit points, and whatever attack points were not reduced by the shield directly hit your life points. If you're familiar with the old cartoon series Yu-Gi-Oh!, we call that a direct attack on your life points. Pretty much the same principle, just done a little bit differently. Okay, so let's find out what monsters are on the field, and let's see if we can
Trash Sonic Boom, 9 attack, Vampire, Bastion, Shield, Ogre, Monster 7, Dungeon Deck, 54 card, Ogre, Monster 7 attack.
Okay, we've got an Ogre. Now, you don't really get any descriptions of what the monsters look like. I think that could be really cute if you turn that off and on. I think a bestiary would be really good for this game. It'd be really kind of cute. Either the bestiary could pop up on the card itself, or the bestiary could be in the settings, or it can be in the main page. Now, this monster, if I attack it with my Sonic Boom or my Sonic Blaster, the monster would be destroyed, and I'd still have 2 attack points left on the weapon. So keep in mind that my weapon remains until all of its attack points are depleted, or if I trash the weapon. Trash, or T-R-A-S-H, means to destroy the weapon. Now, when you're a new player to the game, you're going to want to be very careful. Make sure that before you confirm a double tap on a weapon or a shield, make sure you want to trash it if that's what you mean to do. Before you attack a monster, make sure that's the particular item you want to use on the monster. Before you double tap and drag a monster to land on your shield, make sure that that's the monster you want to land on your shield. Keep in mind, whatever attack point the monster has over your shield's defense points is direct damage to your life points. If that direct damage reduces your life points to 0 or negatively, you die. No ifs, ands, or buts, unless there is some magical effect or card effect in place to save you. Okay? All right. Now that we know that there's one monster here that we can defeat, let's see what other monsters are on
Bastion.
the board.
Shield 10 defense. 10.
Well, that's not a monster. That's what we call a shield. We'll get into what a shield is
Vampire.
in a second.
Monster 10 attack. 10.
There's a vampire here. Now, unfortunately, my Sound Blaster only has an attack power of 9, which means I cannot kill this vampire, but I can also do an enormous amount of damage to it. So, there's a lot of ways to play the game. You can damage a monster and do as much damage as you can to it. You can physically battle with the monster by reducing your life points or hit points by taking the monster and dragging it over your hit points. And you can also drag the monster over your shield. Okay? Now, how do you use shields? Well, that's the next thing we're going to get into. Now, did you remember that we had a shield that was in the battlefield? Whenever you find shields, they will appear in the battlefield. They can stay on the battlefield if they're the last card. So can weapons, so can monsters, so can potions. So don't worry if you leave a shield in the battlefield and it's the last card. The game will move to the next room, but the shield will remain. The weapon will remain. The last monster in the field will remain. No matter what, you still have to deal with the creatures, the weapons, the shields on the field. Alright, so let's go find out what a shield does by swiping
Bastion.
to the left.
Shield 10. Ogre. Bastion. Shield 10 defense. 10.
Okay. By the way, there's a very robust tutorial built into the game. I strongly advise you to check out my part 1 of my beginner tutorial and go through all of my tutorials before you start playing. But also, listen to the game's tutorial to learn more. Okay, now that we're on what we call a Bastion, they have some very, very beautiful names. You're going to want to put this shield in your hand. Now, you don't have to equip it. You don't have to put it into your left or right hand or pocket, but you can. Now, since we have two monsters in the field, what we're going to be trying to do is we have a running battle here where we're trying to get rid of as many monsters as possible. However, you also want to utilize everything efficiently. You don't want to waste resources, okay? We're going to be talking about what happens when you waste resources and why that's a bad thing, but not yet. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and grab that shield and place it in our right hand. Now, we can't place it in our left hand because we have the Sonic Blaster in our left hand. Your hands can only hold one weapon, one shield, one magic spell, one potion at a time. They cannot hold 2 items at a time, okay? So let's go ahead and double tap and drag that
Ogre.
Bastion.
Monster Bastion. Shield 10 defense. 10.
I'm going to double tap.
Bastion. Shield 10 defense. 10.
And as you heard, there was a little sound. It went. It's basically the sound of somebody grabbing a card up. Now, I have this card in my hand. Now, it's going to stay in my hand, and I can move it and manipulate it and move it around. If I swipe
Ogre.
to
Monster
the
7
left,
attack. Double tap to defend with shield. 7.
that doesn't mean that I've lost the card that's currently being grasped in my hand. You might have noticed that it says you can block this creature with this card. That isn't how these cards work. I know it sounds like it says you can do it, but it's more like a tooltip pop-up. So that confused me for a very long time. I tried to take a card while it was in the battlefield and slap it onto another card. You cannot do that. Your character must have the card in their character controlled areas before you can utilize the card, okay? So that's one of the things, misnomers that new players don't understand. They think that they can take a card in the field and use it on another card in the field. You cannot, okay? All right. Another thing you can't do is adjust the cards in the field. They'll move themselves, so do not spend any time, don't waste any time thinking you can arrange cards in the field. There's no need to. All right, now that we have the Bastion, we're going to swipe to the right and place it in our right hand. Now, as I move along the path, try to pay attention to the cards that I walk over, okay? Here we go. I'm going to start swiping to the right.
Selected. Bastion. Shield 10 defense. Selected. 10. Vampire. Monster 10 attack. Double tap to defend with shield. 10. Trash Sonic Boom. 9 attack. Button. Left hand equipped with weapon Sonic Boom. 9 damage. Soundweaver. Health 23 of 25. Right hand empty. Equip Bastion. 10 defense.
Okay. So we're going to... Did you hear the path I was walking through? And that's kind of how I want you to learn how to play. I want you to get used to the pathway that you walk cards. So let me drop this card in my right hand. So we're going to complete this task by double tapping and dropping the card in my right hand.
Right hand equipped with shield Bastion. 10 defense.
All right. And give me one quick second. I will be right back. But I want you to think about how I walk through that pathway. I will return in 1 minute. All right, I am back. I'm going to refill my coffee real quick. It's gotten a little cold. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to take this phase by phase as we go through this tutorial. We're not going to speed. We're just going to take our time. And again, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment. You can also reach out to me on my Discord. Those are 2 quick ways to reach out to me. Now, what I'm going to do real quick is refill my coffee, and I'll be right back.
Lift for home. Doc. Messages. Double tap to message. Conversations. Marissa. Pinned. Messages. Your iMessage. Messages. Your iMessage. I'm gonna try to do some. Your iMessage. I gave page 12 of 13. Page 11 of 13. Page 10 of 13. Message. Marissa Church. If I get burned. Suno.com. 1 image. Messages. Back button. Web page loaded. If I get burned. Heading level. At Etherwriter 1. Etherwriter 1. Follow. Button. 0. Flavor. Play. Button. Flavor.
I feel sicky, sneezy, weepy, yucky and drippy. Grab tissue, blow my nose. What will it feel next? Nobody knows. Swallow pills, drink 7-Up. I don't know if I'll throw it up. I feel sneezy, achy, runny, stuffy and sleepy. Grab my phone and turn on a movie.
Love this song. Share it with the world. Share. Dismiss. Love this song. Share it with the world. Share. Dismiss. Love this song. Share it with the world. Share. Dismiss.
All
Love
the
this song.
experts
Share it with
say
the world.
take
Share.
vitamin
Dismiss.
C, but all that does is make me drink and go pee. Oh, I feel sick, sick. I think I'm gonna just cuddle with my dog Jose and go to bed. I feel sicky, sneezy, We be
Verifying. Ellipsis. Cloudflare. Privacy. Bullet. Hell. Cloudflare. Privacy. Hell. Cloudflare.
Grab
Privacy.
tissue,
Hell.
blow my nose, what will it feel next? Nobody knows. Swallow pills, drink 7-Up, I don't know if I'll throw it up. I feel sneezy, achy, runny, stuffy and sleepy. Grab my phone and turn on a movie. After cough medicine, don't know if it's real or I'm going loony. All the experts say take vitamin C, but all that does is make me drink and go pee. Oh, I feel sick, sick. I think I'm gonna just cuddle with my dog Jose and go to bed.
Page 1 of 1.
I feel sicky,
Address.
sneezy.
Suno.com. Share it with the world. Share. Dismiss. Back. Page menu. Button. Back. Dismiss. Share. Share it with the love this song.
Grab
Dismiss.
tissue,
Share.
blow
Button. Share it with the
my
world.
nose,
Love this
what
song.
will it
Notifications.
feel
Share it.
next?
Share. Love. Share it. Share.
Nobody
Dis back. Page.
knows.
Address. Suno.com. Refresh. Button. More. Button. More. Button.
Swallow
Refresh.
pills,
Button.
drink
Address.
7-Up,
Page
I
menu.
don't
Button.
know
Back.
if I'll
Button.
throw it up.
Dismiss.
I
Button.
feel
End.
sneezy,
Dismiss. End.
achy,
Notifications button.
runny,
Region.
stuffy and sleepy. Grab
was
my
trying to
phone
make
and
it stop,
turn
but-
on
I
a
feel sicky,
movie.
sneezy, weepy,
After
lucky, if I get
cough
burned. Heading levels, I feel,
medicine, don't
sign in,
know if
button,
it's
Suno
real
logo,
or
continue, button,
I'm going
web browser,
loony.
open,
All the
button,
experts
Suno
say
app,
take
Suno is better
vitamin
on the
C,
app, button,
but all that does is
Marissa,
make
button,
me drink
button.
and go pee. Oh, I feel
Nope. Nope. I couldn't find the button. There's a pause button there, but it wasn't letting me find it. Sorry. That's okay. It still works there, but sometimes the buttons, Sonos changed its app several times. I would remind them, if you could just make some big fat buttons and put everything in a consistent player, oh, that'd be amazing.
App switcher, Safari, active, messages, active, Scoundrel, active,
Okay.
Pocket,
We're back
empty,
for phase 2. Well, not quite phase. Well, this is kind of phase 2. We've talked about a lot of things. We went through the whole beginning, and we had a little chat, and we talked about the principles of the game and some things to keep in mind. We brushed on some of the points very lightly, and then, of course, we're deep diving here and discussing the controls with a lot more authority. And my confidence is pretty high when it comes to this game. I mean, I really don't lose unless it's just absolutely the worst RNG possible. And then what does it matter? I'll just play again. There really isn't any penalty, so again, just experiment, have fun, play again. If you fail, play again. All right, let's go ahead. I also like to encourage a developer to create a little store, make some daily quests, make more achievements, make a little store where you can get companions, and maybe you can play a little side quest or something. I really want to encourage a developer to add some replayability, add some extra stuff, groom us for a little bit more fun and extra side missions and things to do. I think it'd be really fun. Make some real currency. There's lots of opportunities to earn currency. And I think that helps players who are new to the game to give them a sense of satisfaction, to feel like they've accomplished something. Because the game itself is pretty heavily balanced. So it's designed to not be easy. It's designed to be logically beat. And at the same point, that can be really frustrating to somebody who doesn't know how to beat it. You know, remember when you were a kid and there was a way to play Monopoly and win, but you didn't get it when you were like 7 or 9? And then when you got to be 13 and 14, you started figuring out, oh, it's a game of conversation and compromise and making deals and leverage. Well, that's kind of how this game is. At first you don't get it, and then you sort of get it, and then you really get it, and then it's a competition to be the best. So that's one of the things I want you to keep in mind. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk about how to defeat the monsters on the field, and then we're going to move a little faster after that, okay? All right, so we've already talked about how cards move through the pathway. I want you to pay attention when you are playing to things like trash cards, listening to buttons that are on the screen. Again, it's a pretty well-designed, well-created, punchy little UI, but you have to pay attention to what particular part of the interface that you are on. So it's really important to know what your focus is. One of the tricks I use as a blind person is that I swipe my finger to the left and then back to the right to determine where my focus is. If you're a blind person, this comes as second nature. But that's really important because you don't want to double tap on the wrong focus. That's bad. All right, now this time we're going to do a little technique I call it blast, then block. So most of the time you're going to want to kill the biggest monster, but sometimes it's better to let the bigger monster be wheedled down from room to room. So there's two strategies you can employ. I'm going to describe the first strategy, blast the biggest monster. Sometimes it's better to blast the biggest monster because you won't have to deal with it in subsequent rooms. But if you have a couple of specialized cards, you sometimes can change. You can if you have polymorph, you can change the monster. There's some other cards that can basically function like the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Magical Hats card and kind of hide cards around and shuffle them to the bottom of your deck. And there's lots of things you can do. There are cards that let you destroy the cards in the field, taking penalties. But be careful. Do not play cards that you don't understand. You really get a lot of practice with them. So I've actually had to learn for myself the hard way about several cards. And have I unlocked all the cards? Almost. I have like 3 cards left to unlock, and then that will give me the achievement of having unlocked all the magical cards. All right. So you have to earn currency to buy those cards, and just remember you have to place those cards in your deck. And finally, you can only have 3 magical cards in your deck. Okay, but you can have 2 if you want, or just 1, or you don't have to have any if you don't want any. So there's no requirement to have magical cards in your deck. All right, so now let's talk about blasting the biggest enemy. I'm going to do that strategy first, and then we'll talk a little bit about letting big monsters stay in the field and wheedling them down. All right, so we have 2 monsters on the field. Let's review them.
Trash Bast, right hand equipped Soundwhiver, health, left hand equipped with Trash Sonic Boom, Vampire, Monster 10 attack, 10.
The vampire is the biggest monster in the field. Some of the I talked about it in part 1. High-end monsters have about 9 to 10 attack. Some go up as high as 14, 15, and I'm sure in higher difficulty levels they get even stronger. All right. Now this is considered a big monster, so you either are going to want to take it out, or you're going to want to let it sit till you find a weapon to take it out, or a shield to run it into. Worst case scenario, you run it into yourself. But actually, sometimes best case scenario, you kill the monster with your bare hands if you have something called a potion. Now, potions have several names: draft, filter, they have all kinds of really cute brews, they have lots of cute names, but they all basically mean the same thing. They are consumables that will heal your hit points. And what you are looking not to do is to overfill your hit points. Everything you're doing in this game should be done in a sense of you want to kind of be under, not over. Don't over things, under things. So let's say I had a healing potion that healed me for 9, but I only had 8 missing hit points. Then that's not a good time to use that healing potion. You want to save that healing potion for when you exactly have 9 hit points to heal. Now there's another thing you shouldn't do. You shouldn't heal if you don't need to heal. Don't forget you have that really cool pocket, and that pocket can hold a potion for you. But also don't forget you can also hold a potion in your left hand or your right hand. And you can do a strategy I call leave the potion on the field. You can leave the potion on the field, which is a great strategy to use in case you get a bunch of monsters. That means you have basically floating hit points. This is a really advanced technique, and I'll be talking about it in the intermediate tutorial and the advanced tutorial. But basically leaving a potion on the field basically is your hit points. Those are your hit points, because at any point you can always put a potion on your character. You can always consume it. All right, but let's start off by blasting the biggest monster in the field and talk about some techniques we can
Ogre,
utilize.
Monster Dungeon deck, 54 cards remaining. Ogre, Monster 7 attack, 7.
We have
Vampire,
an ogre,
Monster 10 attack, 10.
and we have a vampire. Let's use our weapon to blast the vampire, okay? I'm going to walk over to my weapon, which is
Trash
in my
Sonic Boom,
hand.
left hand equipped with weapon Sonic Boom, 9 damage.
Okay. Be careful not to double tap when it says trash, unless you want to trash it. Now, when is a good time to trash a card? A good time to trash a card is if you absolutely have no place to put cards you need to play. If you have a card that's very diminished, or you have a card that's low level, you can trash it. You try not to do that. You try to use everything efficiently, but you can't always do that. And this is where we get to the dilemma. A dilemma is designed to emotionally try your mind, because you don't want to waste things. And sometimes you have no choice but to waste things. And sometimes by wasting things, you've lost the game. You're just going to have to accept that you can only control what you can control. I don't know, I just can't think of that old kind of idiom, just accept what you can control and just let go of things you can't control. But I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's the idiom that AA uses. But yeah, there's certain things you can control, there's certain things you cannot control, and you need to know the difference. That's the idiom I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that weapon, and I'm going to blast the vampire. Okay, so let's go ahead, get over to my left hand.
Right hand equipped with Trash Bastion, 10 right hand equipped Soundweaver, health 23, left hand equipped with Weapon Sonic Boom, 9 damage.
Double tap to select the
left hand equipped with Weapon Sonic Boom, 9 damage.
Okay, now we're going to swipe till we get to a monster we want to attack, which is going to be
Trash Sonic Boom, 9 attack, Vampire, Monster 10 attack, double tap to attack with Sonic Boom, 10.
Alright, once you've heard it say attack it, you can double tap and we will attack the vampire. Now it won't kill the vampire, but it will do damage to it. And the vampire's attack power will be diminished.
Vampire, attack Vampire with Sonic Boom and Vampire took 9 damage. Sonic Boom broke.
Alright. Did you notice that my weapon broke? Well, when a weapon uses up all its attack power, it breaks. Basically, you've exhausted the card. Nothing wrong with that. That's how it goes. Alright, now let's go hear what the vampire's attack power is now. Remember, we used an attack on it, so we reduced its attack.
Monster 7 attack. Vampire, Monster 1 attack.
See, now the vampire has only 1 attack. Now, remember we put that shield in our right hand? Well, what we can do is we can run the vampire into our shield. Okay? Or we can run the ogre into our shield. Now, I prefer to kill off the biggest creatures first, simply because if I get too many weapons and shields, I really don't want to have to throw anything away. In this particular instance, I'm not concerned about that as much because I have an open pocket. But your rule might want to be, if you are really full, if your left hand is full, your right hand is full, and your pocket is full, start using up what you have. That's important. In this case, I'm looking like I'm doing good here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the ogre, pick it up, basically grab it, and drag it over to my shield. Now I can't kill it with my empty hand, but I can also kill it with my hit points if they're higher or equal to the creature. Keep in mind, if you take a creature and drag it onto your character and the hit points are equal to your hit points, you would die, the monster will die, and you will die, and then you will lose. Okay? So be careful. Alright, let's go grab the ogre and drag it on top of our shield. Okay? Let's go find the ogre.
Ogre, Monster 7 attack, 7.
Okay, what's really quick was right here. Right, double tap on the ogre. Here we go.
Ogre, Monster 7 attack, 7.
You heard that telltale sound. Remember, I taught you some of the, listening to the sounds is going to be really important. Now that we've selected, selected the ogre, let's drag the ogre over to our shield and smash it into
Vampire,
the shield.
Monster 1 attack, left hand empty. Soundweaver, health 23 of 25, Baron attack, right hand equipped with Shield Bastion, 10 defense. Tap to defend an attack from Ogre Monster, 7 power.
Okay, here we go. Now we're going to bash this 7 attack power monster into our, I think it's a, what is it?
Soundweaver, right hand equipped with Shield Bastion, 10 defense. Tap to defend an attack from Ogre Monster, 7 power.
10 defense. Now, did you notice something? When it's a weapon, it's attack. When it's a shield, it's defense. Okay? So let's double tap and let the ogre be smashed in the face by our shield.
Right hand equipped with extended ogre with shield. No damage, take room 2, dealing cards.
Alright, a couple things happened there. Let's discuss it. We're going to move into our second phase of our gameplay here. We've talked about quite a few things, but now let's talk about moving the turns along. Now, what I did is simply all you need to do to complete the dungeon. Empty out all the cards that are in your deck, get to the last room, and the rooms are determined by how many cards are left in your deck. Kill off all monsters, and you beat the dungeon. You'll get a huge amount of applause, creature comfort, and you'll feel really good about yourself, and you would have won. You'll be offered a chance to replay or try a new combination of character class. All right, so as I said, we're going to be moving a little quicker. Let's go ahead and take a look at our shield so we kind of understand how our weapons lose durability when they're used. When you use an attack weapon to reduce the attack of a monster, that attack weapon is going to lose its durability. Once its durability reaches 0, that card is destroyed. Same thing with a shield. Once you've taken a monster and run it into your shield, when that shield loses all of its durability or its defense, that shield is destroyed. Do recall that if you bring a monster to smash into your shield that is above your shield's defense, the remaining attack damage will go directly to your hit points. If that attack damage reduces you to 0 or lower than 0, you are defeated. The game is over, and you'll get some very interesting epic fail music. Alright, so let's go ahead and find out what the 3 new cards were dealt on the field. As you recall, we had a vampire that we reduced down to 1 hit points. There's no big deal dealing with that vampire. At any point, we can take that vampire and we can manually defeat it with our bare hands, okay? But first, let's find out what we have to deal with on the field, and that's kind of where strategy comes in. You need to pay attention to what new monsters appear, what new weapons, and what new shields appear.
Soundweaver, help left hand empty, vampire, shockwave, zombie, Aegis, shield 9 defense, dungeon deck, 51 cards remaining.
We have 51 cards left now. Did you notice we started off with 54? Now we're down to 51. So we're slowly reducing our deck, which is the normal progression of how we want to play the game.
Aegis, shield 9 defense, 6.
We
zombie,
have an Aegis.
Monster 5 attack, 5.
We have a zombie with
shockwave,
5 attack.
Weapon 6 damage.
We have
zombie,
a shockwave.
Weapon 6 damage. Vampire, monster 1 attack.
And we have the vampire left over from room 1 with 1 attack power. Alright, so when you first get into a room, one of the things you're going to want to start doing is formulating a strategy. How can you get the cards down to 1? What can you do to save as much of your utilities and your attack power and defense power as possible? How can you reserve as much of your hit points as possible? So these are some really important factors. Alexa, what's my announcement? Alexa, what's my notification?
One new notification from Amazon. U.S. National Web.
Alexa, stop. Sorry about folks. I do have a package coming, so I got Queen Angel a little cute little special package this week. So I got her a little special package, and I was wondering if it was coming early. So okay, sorry about that. All right, so let's go ahead and think about this
shockwave,
here.
weapon, zombie, Aegis, shield 9 dungeon deck, 51 Aegis, zombie, monster 5 attack, 5.
The first thing you're going to do is determine who's the strongest monster in the field and how you're going to deal with it, or whether you're going to leave it on the field. Since we already have a 1 attack monster in the field, we really don't have to deal with anything much. There really isn't a lot of strong monsters on the field. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to try to kill the zombie with one of my shields, okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the shield that's on
Aegis,
the battlefield.
shield 9 defense, 6.
Aegis, and let's go ahead and double
Aegis.
tap.
Shield 9 defense. 6.
We have selected it, and let's go ahead and put it in our left hand. I'm going to be moving a little quicker now, that you kind of understand how the
Zombie.
progression
Monster. Shockwave. Vampire. Monster. Left hand empty. Equip Aegis. 9 defense.
Oh, actually, I did notice something. There's something I noticed. I have a weapon that's loose and about. I'm gonna probably, let's go get the weapon first. I'm gonna change my
Vampire.
strategy here.
Shockwave. Weapon 6 damage.
Let's take the shockwave and kill the zombie.
Shockwave. Weapon 6 damage.
Now, if you're already carrying a card, you can switch to another card if it's in the field by double tapping on the new card you prefer to carry. Now that I've selected this weapon, let's go put it in my
Vampire.
left hand.
Left hand empty. Equip Shockwave. 6 damage. Left hand equipped with weapon Shockwave. 6 damage.
Once you put the weapon in your hand, there's a really cool thing that you can do. It's already ready to be selected, so just double tap again, and now you have the weapon primed and ready to attack.
Left hand equipped with weapon Shockwave. 6 damage.
Now we're going to go ahead and focus on the zombie.
Trash
And
Shockwave.
kill it.
Vampire. Monster 1 attack. Zombie. Monster 5 attack. Double tap to attack with Shockwave. 5.
Let's go ahead and
Zombie.
kill it.
Monster 5 attack. Double attack zombie with Shockwave in the pocket. Empty.
Okay. The monster is killed. Let's
Fleet.
go back to our weapon.
Minus 3. Pocket. Help. Trash Bastion. 3. Right hand equipped with Shield Bastion. 3 defense. Soundweaver. Health 23 of 25. Left hand equipped with weapon Shockwave. 1 damage.
Now you notice I have a 1 weapon damage card. Now there's a little trick I do. I like to match the damage to the monster. It's a really efficient way of getting rid of threats. Since we have a 1 attack power vampire and a 1 attack power weapon, the weapon's really not going to be very useful against anything. But just remember, you can always use a weapon or multiple weapons on one monster. Never feel like you should never throw away a weapon if there's a monster to be damaged. Always use up your weapons, okay? So I'm going to take this weapon and we're going to kill off the vampire.
Trash Shockwave. 1. Left hand equipped with weapon Shockwave. 1 damage. Left hand equipped with weapon Shockwave. 1 damage.
I've selected the shockwave weapon. I'm going to go ahead
Trash
and kill the
Shockwave.
vampire.
1 vampire. Monster 1 attack. Double tapped vampire. Attack vampire with Shockwave. Both were destroyed. Room 3. Dealing cards. Charge.
You notice
Shield
there
3
was another
defense. 3.
special message. Did you hear that message? Both weapons were destroyed, both cards were destroyed, something to that effect. So when 2 items are matched in power, they're going to make that notification come up. So both cards were destroyed. Nothing wrong with it. Don't get worried. It just means that the weapon only had 1 attack. The monster only had 1 attack. So 1 minus 1 equals 0. And then you'll get that notification. All right, now we're in room 3, and we're going to move even a little quicker. Let's kind of talk again about the flow of battle. When you get to a new room, you're going to want to start paying attention to some things. How much are your hit points? Are your hit points being threatened? Is it hard? Is it easy? Now, if things are easy, we can start to do more hand-to-hand combat with monsters, reserving our weapons. This is very important because you have to pay attention to how many potions have been seen in the battlefield. You don't want to have to overkill. That's always a very bad thing. So, start reducing your hit points by basically hand-to-hand combat versus the monsters. I kind of keep my hit points somewhere around 17 to 20. You don't have to have max hit points at all time. It isn't necessary. In fact, it can be really bad because you might get a couple of extra potions and you'll have to waste them. Nothing worse than having to consume a potion and not need it. Nothing worse than having to break a weapon that you might have been able to utilize. It's really bad. So these are just some of the things, these are the dilemmas you have to deal with when you play Scoundrel, because it's a game that tests your ability to kind of memorize what cards are coming. And this is where the game is kind of like blackjack. As you know, in blackjack, the way you beat blackjack is realizing how many face cards have been played and how many number cards have been played. If you have a superb memory, you can actually start realizing that the deck favors you at certain times. Now, the way the casinos stop you from being able to do this is that they put so many decks of cards for the dealer to deal out that it's going to be much harder for you to kind of grasp how many cards have been played.
Glitch.
And they're
Monster
going to
10 attack.
shuffle.
10. 1 E Kixer plus X12. X.
Sorry about
1.
that.
0.
They're going to shuffle those decks a lot more and change dealers to change the strategy out so that you don't figure it out. But ultimately, card counters are usually able to defeat blackjack simply because they just have superior ability to count the percentages and ratios and stuff like that. I'm not giving you an exact technique on how to count cards. There's a lot more to it. But basically, we're doing the same thing here in Scoundrel. We're counting cards. We're paying attention to what monsters have been seen and defeated or remain on the field. We're counting what weapons and shields have been seen, used, and remain on the field. That's basically counting cards. And once you kind of know what cards are coming up and what cards you have at your disposal, you can kind of make evaluations and set up a way to play so that you bring the right cards to bear at the right time. You don't waste good cards, you save good cards, you hoard as much as possible. It isn't always possible, but it's basically what you're trying to do. All right, so now we're on a new field, and let's start to get rid of more of the creatures on the field. So we made an evaluation of our hit points, of what cards are coming up, and those are kind of the first couple of steps you do every new room. The third step is that you're going to go ahead and review the field. Review. Oh God. Yeah. You're going to review the field and see what's on the field and see what serious monsters are there and what good cards are there. So let's go ahead and check out what's on the
Aegis.
field.
Dungeon deck. 48 cards remain. Aegis. Shield 9 defense. 6.
We've got an Aegis, which is a shield, a very nice shield, what we call a higher
Glitch.
end
Monster
shield.
10 attack. 10. 1 E Kixer plus X12. X. 1. 0. 0. 3. 1. 3. $84 plus 46.
And now we've got, there's a lot of unnecessary information of voiceover speaking. Again, that's just a little bit of those are little glitches that come with voiceover. Just ignore them. It doesn't mean anything. A lot of games sometimes retain what I call little audio glitches. You'll get imperfect information, and usually developers slowly but surely root all that unnecessary audio information up. Basically, sometimes voiceover collects garbage, and depending on what code the developer has used and how they've arranged their code, voiceover will pick up audio garbage. And it's not part of the game, it's just a little bit of a glitch. Just ignore it. So we've got a good shield, but we've got also a strong monster. Let's find out what the third card is on the field. And I think we already got rid of the vampire. And also, just again, sometimes you might forget what you've done. There isn't like, I think it would be kind of cool to have like a turn keeper, like a history. I think that'd be a good natural update for the game, so you know what you've done on the turn.
Elixir. Potion 5 heal. Plus 5.
Okay, we got our first potion. Now they all have very pretty names, but these are very important. These are your lifeblood, and these allow you to grapple with monsters in hand-to-hand attack and kill them because you can replace your hit points. Now, if there's no excuse me. I'm so sorry. Just got over a flu. I do apologize. I know it's gross. There is sometimes a situation where you can't use a heal potion. If you have an open pocket,
Messages. Now, Marissa Church. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, Queen Angel. Thank you. I'm proud of you more than I'm proud of myself. Yes, today I wasn't going to work. Today I wasn't going to do any card tutorial. I wasn't going to do part 2. Me and Queen Angel, we support each other. We encourage each other to do work. I had no energy this morning. I didn't sleep last night, and I had 0 energy. But I forced myself and made myself work today, and I feel really good about that. All right, so we've talked about glitches. We've talked about cards. We've talked about taking a look at what you're dealing with. We've talked about counting cards. So I'm starting to notice, I had started to notice room 1 and 2 had no potions. So, when you don't see a card, it's coming. Now, if you want to cheat, I don't mean real cheat, I just mean if you want to do extra work, you can actually pull up your iPad or another iPhone, or you can actually write it on a piece of paper if you're low vision or whatever, and you can write down every card you've seen and what cards you expect to come up. This is a really, really cool way of counting cards. So if I wanted to, I can get a keyboard, attach it to my iPad, and then basically every card that's played, I can put it on a list, and every card that I haven't seen, I can put it on a list. And then just cross-analyze. Hey, I haven't seen the Goblin. Well, he's coming. I haven't seen Dracula. Well, he's coming. Oh, I have seen the Ogre, so I cross him out. So these are really cool techniques. If you're really old school, when I used to play D&D, I would actually have all my monsters on my desk in front of me with all their hit points. I'd have all of their hit points, their spells, their cards. I'd have another app running telling me what they can do. I'd have another app running telling me their description. I'd have another app running telling me what movement effects and other things they would be dealing with, what was their most likely spell. I'd have a random number generator ready to determine what the monster would do, and I'd have all my players, and I'd have all that gridded out on my desk. So basically, there's literally 40, 50 items with values assigned and several gadgets I had set up. When I do D&D, and I am a pretty darn good DM, I wouldn't say I'm not professional level.
Messages.
But I'm
Now,
highly
Marissa Church.
skilled.
Marissa reacted smiling face. To I'm gonna try to do some work. Gonna try to record a tutorial and you please
Marissa reacted to my. I sent her a text message. And I said to Queenie, I said, I'm gonna try to work today. She says, "You gonna do it? Yeah, you're still tired." I said, "Yeah, I am totally tired, but I'm gonna do it anyway." Getting back to what we're working on here. So, what I used to do when I was a DM was I would have everything all set up, and I'd have my players all set up, and I'd know all the equipment. And even though Hasbro, I think, is now the owner of D&D, even though Hasbro, back in those days, it was Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast made several books accessible for the blind and visually impaired, and I think it was absolutely wonderful of them. So there are several free books you can get from Bard. And I memorized all those books. I literally memorized them. That's just how I work. I memorize things. So you can, of course, use Braille displays. You can type it all out. You can do a bunch of things. You can Braille the cards. You can tactile the cards. You can text the cards if you have low vision. Whatever you want to do, you can do that stuff. But yeah, I used to memorize all their source books. And so people would ask me, okay, what does Fireball do? I'd read them verbatim what Fireball did. And they'd be like, no, it's not. That's not Fireball. You don't know that. You haven't memorized the spell. Well, so go ahead and look it up. So they get on Google. Oh, you did memorize Fireball. I said, yeah. And they were like, in awe, like, oh, holy shit. And like, yeah, I actually am a DM, and whatever makes me faster benefits you. Like, if you're paying me as a DM, you're not paying me to sit there, flip through guidebooks for 4 hours. You pay me to give you adventure, excitement, and speed. Not always can I give you speed, but you pay me to get the job done. So why wouldn't I memorize 90% of my source material? I want the game to move, not just be a snail. I want it to move and be enjoyable. So yeah, I would spend, at one point, I remember during COVID, I was spending hundreds of hours memorizing source material. During COVID, I was really good. But I wasn't getting paid, so I wasn't very happy. And I was making some very important mistakes there, and I didn't know what I was doing, and there was a lot I needed to learn. But basically, I spent the most time of my life memorizing things during COVID. So getting back to what we're talking about here, memorizing cards can be very beneficial because you kind of know what to expect from them. And this is a very kind of tactile, like number crunching, blackjack type of card game. Card games are very much about memorizing things. They're about understanding the percentages, the ratios, the values, the strategy, what to expect. In Dungeon Scoundrel, knowing what cards are coming up are going to make you a much better player. So that's what I'm trying to teach you here. That's why I'm taking time to draw really long, elaborate examples, because I'm trying to teach you how to beat the game. You're going to beat the game if you start understanding the game's basic principles. All right, so we're going to go ahead and...
Charge, shield, elixir, potion 5 heal, plus 5.
We're going to take that elixir and we're going to leave it on the field. Because remember, what did I teach you about potions? They're basically floating hit points for you. Floating hit points meaning at any time we can use them. Anytime you can leave a potion on the field is a good strategy. Anytime you can leave a very low powered monster on the field, very good. You can't always do it, but you have a huge advantage if you've been able to leave a potion or a low attack monster on the field. The third best thing you can leave on the field is a shield or a weapon. Okay? I'm categorizing them as one because they really don't make much difference. All right, so let's decide what we want to get off the field. I'm going to quickly check my hands and then figure out what
Charge,
we have.
shield 3 defense, left hand empty. Soundweaver, right hand equipped with shield bastion, 3 defense.
So we have a shield that can still take 3 damage from the monster. So it's not good to leave shields or low power weapons in your hands, because then you're going to get a monster that's much bigger, and then we're kind of in a situation where we can't easily get rid of a shield. Weapon is easy. Weapons can always just be shot off toward monsters to reduce their attack.
Soundweaver, health 23 of 25, left hand empty. Charge, shield 3 defense, elixir, potion 5 heal, lich, monster 10 attack, 10, aegis, shield 9 defense, lich, monster 10 attack, 10, 1 e-kixer plus x12,
so
x, 1, 0, 0, 3, 1, 3, $84, elixir, charge, shield 3 defense, left hand empty. Charge, shield 3 defense, elixir, potion 5 heal, plus 5.
Let's go ahead, let's take that big shield and let's run the lich into the big
aegis,
shield.
Shield 9 defense, 6. Aegis, shield 9 defense, lich, elixir, charge, left hand empty, equip aegis, 9, left hand equipped with shield aegis, trash charge, elixir, potion 5 heal, lich, monster 10 attack, 10, 1, lich, monster 10 attack, 10, elixir, charge, shield 3 defense, 3, trash aegis, 9 defense, button, charge, shield 3 defense, 3, trash aegis, 9 defense, left hand equipped with shield aegis, 9 defense, tap to defend, and left hand equipped with defended lich with shield and Soundweaver take 1 damage.
Alright, did you hear that little bit of information that voiceover gave you? Because the lich had 10 attack and my shield only had 9 defense, I took 1 direct point of damage to my hit points. So that's a really important aspect of playing the game you need to pay attention to. It's okay to take damage. Don't feel like you need to be a glass cannon, alright? So let's go ahead
health 22 of 25.
Listen to our hit points. So we're down to 22 hit points. We're fine. We're fine. You really don't have to worry about your hit points unless you're kind of really close to death. And oh, by the way, there are a couple things to keep in mind. If you don't lose any hit points, you do get a nice little bonus. It's basically your hit points double. But if you don't have your hit points maxed out, you'll just get a bonus according to how many hit points you have left. Okay? I don't really make a big deal out of keeping my hit points max. I prefer bonus points, but again, it really doesn't matter. You're looking to beat the dungeon. Scoring is a secondary condition. Unless you're very experienced, then scoring is probably your primary
left hand
condition.
empty. Charge, shield 3 defense, 3.
All right, we've got another shield on the field. Now, if you have a card called Forge, you can combine 2 of the same items. You can combine 2 shields. You can combine 2 weapons. I'm not sure if you can combine 2 potions. One of these days I'm going to have to play around with it. I don't know yet. I'll find out for you. Okay, so let's check the field. Remember, when we get down to 1 card, what's going to happen? Right. It's going to progress forward 1 room.
Elixir, dungeon deck, classic run. Dungeon deck, 48 cards remaining. Elixir, potion 5, charge, shield 3 defense, left hand empty.
All right. We talked about leaving a potion on the field, and that's what we're going to do. But in order to move to the next room, with 2 cards left, we need to move 1 more card off of the field. We're going to take that shield and place it in our left hand, which is empty.
Charge. Left hand empty. Charge. Shield 3 defense. Elixir. Potion 5 heal. Plus. 5. Charge. Shield 3 defense. 3. Charge. Shield 3 defense. 3. Left hand empty. Equip charge. 3 defense. Left hand equipped with shield charge. 3 room 4. Dealing cards.
All right. You see that we move forward and we have moved to a new room. We're going to stop right there for now. I think we've been playing for quite some time, and I don't want these tutorials to get so long that you're discouraged and there's too much information for you to hear. Try to grasp the ideal of looking at your character as an overview, understanding how many hit points you have, how many cards are left in the deck to complete, and start focusing on what monsters you want to kill and what monsters you want to leave on the field. And start thinking about your strategy. And that's a good way to start playing Dungeon Scoundrel so that you have a good strategy ahead. I'm going to wrap it up for now, folks. Come back for tutorial part 3, and please take care.